I hope this works. I can only capture the screen and not the game itself in my streaming software. So just gonna see here. Yeah, seems like it's working. This is Gary Grigsby's War in the East 2. We're now in 2026. We're playing the 1.4.10 beta, which I think is the latest version. I've been setting up this game for a long time. I'm gonna play versus the AI because I really don't have the time to play regularly versus human player where you play 1 or 2 turns per week. I just can keep up with that regularly. So my difficulty levels for this campaign is gonna be 120 for the AI, the German Axis AI, and 100 for me. I think the difficulty levels, this is a custom one, because usually when you increase the AI, you will lower yourself. I'm gonna play myself as a regular, kind of as a practice run. So the Soviet side is normal, the Germans are a bit better. 120 as well is a level where, is it the morale or something that allows them kind of to teleport a bit, ignore zone of control, something. And what I'm not gonna do is, because I'm a slow player, is play live. I'm just gonna do a recording at the end of the turn, just show my setup. And heck, it's been such a long time. I played a couple hours here and there, and setting up turn 1, I can't remember what I did with the air forces in the air turn. I think I usually just remove most of the stuff from so I still have 4,000 aircraft on the map. That's weird. I guess I do. Alright, so I do have airplanes on the map. Yeah, maybe I just pulled them back this time around. I can't remember. You want to see the loss? The Axis AI killed off around normal stuff for the first time. Let's see how many aircraft they killed. 4,500 Soviet losses, but they themselves lost 560, which I think is quite a lot for a human playing min-max. But 100 pilots, 350 pilots. They only lost 14 bomb fighters, which is the main thing. So it's like, I think their war is fairly normal. I don't have any specific plans. The AI wasn't very good at completing the encirclements in the north, so we just moved from north to south. I built 2 forts in these 2 cities here so that they can start producing forts without having an active division in them, because I want them to go up to from level 3 to level 4 forts before the Germans get their best case. This time around I've emptied out the Baltic states. I'm leaving a naval brigade in Tallinn that's probably gonna evacuate after a while. I just want to leave it entirely empty. Also, I think if you keep a security company, battalion, three lines is a battalion, you can use this to get some suppression, naval suppression here. You know, if I'm lucky, I can evacuate some units. I think I evacuated some headquarters up to here to Perno. A decent army headquarters with a good leader. 4.8, that's a very good leader, Betsarin. So they moved by ocean transport up to Perno here. The Germans took Riga, left 2 divisions here. That's open up the pocket to a supply source, so they're not isolated for next turn. Next, okay, I'm gonna try to use a bit of epic pen here. Yeah, look at this. Here's my next defense line around Novgorod. I'm building a fort here in the open terrain, and then you have marshes and a bit of a river line. So this is gonna be my first true defensive line. I'm also, of course, setting up a river defense line here, but it's just stragglers, bad quality infantry, a couple of forts. Just the starting forces. I'm not gonna allow myself to be encircled here. The AI isn't as good at encircling as a human opponent, but I kind of gonna play a little bit like as if a human player would set up a strong push and a circle. For me, the main threat around Orel is a breakthrough from the south that cuts you off like so, right? It's pretty good way, and then you get a lot of kills. So that's my first defense line in the north. Epic Pen is a tool you can find for free online, and you can draw on the map. So let's go to the center here. I've defended the Smolensk bridgehead with let's draw some more here. From Vitebsk, gonna use red again. I can. Red there. Vitebsk down here to Mogilev. It's a bit of a defense line here. These are decent divisions in size. These are fairly strong Soviet tank formations. So I guess the AI probably not going to be able to cross the Dnieper in turn 2. Maybe turn 3 they can cross. So I don't know if I'm going to stay here for turn 3 or run away. And then my proper defense line in the center, it's going to be along this river line here down to Smolensk. And I built 1, 2, 3 forts. And then you have marshes for the rest of the line, something or down so you have some decent terrain up in the north. You have Smolensk itself, you have 3 open hexes, and then you have a couple of marshes, and you have marshes behind here as well. So this is gonna be my main line of defense in the center. That's very beautiful. Then further south we have some paratroopers holding the river line. And I did push up 3 fairly low quality divisions to the river crossing. The railway is trying to cross here. And then further south, I covered the Dnieper with some zonal controls there. These 2 white divisions here, they're so low quality, I'm going to pull them back into the strategic reserve so they can rest up their morale and return in better shape later on. The rest of the divisions back here are locked in place for more turns. If you wonder about the strange colors, I have kind of a street stop light. So the lighter green, the lower the quality, and the yellow is medium and red is very high quality. So you have very high quality leadership. That's why this core is red. It's an airborne core, I suppose. Whereas this very light green is very bad leadership. That allows me to see at a moment's glance what kind of leadership I have in an army or corps in the game. Okay, let's go back to the center a bit. And I do have some high quality divisions forming up in Smolensk itself. And I moved all my available forces. What is it? 20th Army. I moved some divisions into Mogilev, Vyazma, Kaluga, Tula, so they can start setting up fortifications. And the rest I just moved up to Smolensk here. These are high quality troops actually. And you have one fairly decent quality tank corps setting up in Orel and Bryansk here, far behind the line. What I noticed is that you have better quality troops than I'm used to, so this beta build probably gives the starting Soviet army a bit better quality. You have infantry divisions on morale 60 and above, and even some at 70. I'm not used to that. Could you make a very quick ground unit infantry on map sort to morale? And as you can see here, we have 73 down to 60. We have like a 10 or so, a dozen divisions 60 and above, up to 73 morale for infantry. That's excellent. Those are, I never seen anything above 70 before, maybe once mid 60s. And then you have a bunch of from 50 up to 60 as well, like 20 of them. So I have a better army than I'm used to. Maybe I had a nice roll, setup roll, because it's a bit random, isn't it? Obviously the Pripyat marshes here in the center, I'm not gonna defend. What happened? You have a bit of pockets here. Let's go southwest front. But I managed to open up here at Lvov. Of course, you're not going to be able to run away, so I'm just setting these up. And then I'm just running away from the southern front, Heeresgruppe, army group. The AI did not activate the southern front around Odessa, because they don't go past this hex here. I did not... I guess I managed to flip Tarnopol, but I didn't have anything to set inside the city. Probably should have used one of these two divisions here that I ran back. Should have put them into Tarnopol, which is a city hex. So what's left here is armored and mechanized formations that are not super bad, because I tried to pull them off the map into the reserves. And I'm gonna have them try to slow down the Panzer spearheads without getting encircled, but I moved most of the infantry that I could away from the front line because they're just too slow to prevent. A German player, human player, will either... he will probably aim to exploit down to the Romanian border and encircle this entire southern bulge towards Hungarian border, and then further from here, you know, you probably want to cut off retreating Soviet troops down towards the Black Sea coast, right? While you just slowly follow the main rail line towards the Twin Cities here. Is that about correct? This is the rail line you probably want to go with. Okay, so what do I do against this potential offensive? I can't move my southern front, the purple ones here, around Odessa this turn, so I can't run away with them. My defensive plan is gonna be to have this... well, first I have the forts, which is like the first... that's just, you know, they're not gonna stop anything, obviously. Then I have my second mixed kind of mech tank formation. At least they're fast, right? So they can run away quickly. Since I'm working with the AI and not a human player, I'm not afraid that I will be entirely encircled. If you do this kind of gameplay against a human player, you might risk a lot of getting encircled and getting a lot of divisions killed. It's very risky to try to mount a mobile defense. So we'll see a little bit what's going on. Am I gonna defend Odessa this turn? Probably not. A human player will just send the 11th Army and squash them hard, and you suffer a lot of losses. I think you probably shouldn't defend Odessa. Okay. Then, for my proper main line of defense, I'm gonna try to have a skirmish line north around Kiev down to Cherkasy. Scrolling a bit. And what I'm setting up here around, what's the name of the town? Cherkasy, is I'm gonna have one elite army here. I'm gonna send high quality divisions to this area here because the railroad is crossing here. I'm gonna try to slow down the Germans one turn here, maybe make one or two successful counterattacks with these high quality. Of course I'm gonna upgrade the leader of the army commanding it and try to give him nice support battalions of artillery. So I'm gonna have one elite army here. I forgot to say that, but around Smolensk I'm gonna try to have another one. And then I placed a bunch of forts, as you can see here, every other province. So this is gonna be my, well, defensive secondary line. From Zaporizhzhia to Dnipropetrovsk up to Poltava. And the And I'm gonna try to have a secondary line with the mechanized forces falling down from the front. They're gonna be my reserve behind my infantry here. And then after a couple of counterattacks, I'm gonna fall back to this fort line. If the Germans were to decide, either a human player or a AI, to try to outflank this elite army here, I just fall back to here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 forts. I consider placing forts here out in the open and make this a proper, but I probably will have to run here, so it's not worth investing action points into forts. I didn't exchange any leaders this time around, turn 1. Let me know what you think in the comments. I don't think there's much right or wrong what you invest your action points in early on, but everyone will have their own priority. This time I just built, what is it, 20? No, 10 forts. And 5 of those are in the south. If I'm just gonna leave a token skirmish force from Kiev down to Cherkasy. So if you break through to the north, I'll just fall back. Mobile defense. And then my last fort, I actually placed in a bit of a weird position. I put it in this town here called Genicek, which is a port. That means you can build it up to level 4. So if you want to build it up as much as possible until the Germans reach here, you better build a fort early or get troops in there, but it's gonna be a while. I railed back a bunch of mountain divisions, which are of high quality, of course. I think like 6 of them, and I'm gonna have them back here to start building up fort levels as soon as possible. I don't want them to be encircled and overrun and killed somewhere on the map in the front. I rather have them here, and then they fall back into the mountains on the Kerch, and later on in the, what you call it here, Caucasus Mountains. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. And I'm gonna try to build 2 tank armies under good tank commanders, one around Smolensk and one as a reserve behind the elite infantry army around here in the south, in the center. Because the way I figure it is, if you defend this area here that I'm trying to, you kind of prevent the Germans from going towards Kharkov and Stalino and Rostov. You only have to defend one. Once you get across this river line and fort line here, the plains just opens up and it's almost impossible to defend. Maybe you can slow them down, fall back, but here is a bit of a, like, there's no railway, so if you want to go up and circle, it's kind of a detour. So I feel this is a good place to mount a concerted heavy Soviet defense, because once you fall back, you have 2 areas to defend, either Kharkov or Stalino, right? You split up your defenses and they're half strength, whereas here I can probably have a fairly strong defense. That's what I'm hoping, at least. Oh yeah, I am playing with a different setting this time around. I'm playing with the reduced retreat options losses, because when you increase the morale of the AI, they just attack and punish your attack with retreating so hard. So most of your losses are not from encirclements, they're just from retreats. But for compensation, I lowered, what you call it again, sorry. Reduced retreat attrition is activated, but the combat delay effects is minimal. And this was a purposely done choice by the designers, saying that maybe this is the better way to play, because now when you make encirclements and you punch a hole through, the punching hole through combats, they will not slow you down as much as they used to do. You used to have heavily delayed effects. So it is easier to make encirclements this way, and you cannot just use your German army and the high quality of it to just push your enemy backwards and kind of grind it down World War I style. You need to play more World War II Blitzkrieg encirclement style this way. Now the AI is not going to be super good at it, but I wanted to try it out. I haven't played with this setting yet, so it's kind of a trial campaign for that. It's probably going to benefit me as a human player versus the AI, because it's not super good at making proper circumvents. Alright, I sent low quality stuff back to Stavka and the Soviet reserves. I moved a couple of... Actually, when you check out the pools, the Northern Front theater boxes, as you can see, they're on the 90s, Transcaucasus, 80s. I have a lot of surplus air here, but they're all locked, so I can't do anything about it. In the Far East, I pulled some air back, some fighter squadrons, but you can't really pull back any ground troops. So, because I'm playing with open theater boxes, I'm not gonna try to abuse it or anything, but turn 1, apparently in this build, there's not a lot you can move back, and I'm certainly not moving anything towards the theater boxes. Honestly, I asked ChatGPT about, like, do you have any setup? There's so many aspects of what you can do, and I know people are starting to use AI for this game, which is pretty cool. I haven't really figured out anything. So let me know in the comments, what's your favorite Soviet strategy? Do you hug the enemy and try to slow them down, willing to accept losses? Do you build force? What kind of leaders do you upgrade first? Where do you invest? Oh yeah, I built some stuff. Yeah, let me show you that. If you press this button here, you can build, but most of them cost action points, and I don't think it's worth it early on to invest into that. Maybe it is. Let me know what you think. But some are free. Mortar battalions. I think I built like 30 of those the first turn, because you have a lot of old stupid mortars laying around. So you might as well build some. It's a little bit of fire support, right? And I built up to the 24 possible machine gun battalions. Very weak, not very good. But, you know, if you throw me into a strong position, it's a little tiny bit of a reinforcement. And you have a lot of machine guns. So now they're gonna train for 2.5 months or something before they're good enough to place in the front line. So I built some troops, but nothing that cost you action points. You wanna... Okay, so thank you very much. I think I need to check this over one more time, because there's probably 10 things I forgot before I run the German turn. Maybe I'm gonna stream the German turn attack, AI attacks, to see what happens, but I'll do that in a separate one. Alright, there can't be enough War in the East, Gary Grigsby's excellent war game. It's the best World War II game I know of. Way better than Hearts of Iron 4. Especially in vanilla form. It's just no comparison. This is a war game. Hearts of Iron is something else. It's just a vanilla conflict game. I don't know what. So try this out, support it, and if you find anyone streaming this game to give it more attention, like me, support them by liking and subscribing. Not only me, go check the others as well. Alright. Thanks for watching. See you when the Germans are ready to attack for turn 2. Thank you.